Welcome back and welcome to Vlogmas Day 20. As I said yesterday, today is going to be my top 10 non-fiction reads of 2017. I really struggled to put together my top 10 books of 2017, so I decided to split it into genre, although I've really struggled with each of the genres as well. I already posted my adult one, so I think that was day 17, probably. Maybe 16. So yeah, you should go and check that one out. But non-fiction was really hard too. I've read so many amazing non-fiction books this year. I've read a lot of really good memoirs, and so I considered doing a top 10 memoirs that I've read this year as well, because there's only actually a couple of memoirs-ish in my list here, and then I sort of found some other ones and I was like, oh, that could be included, so I may well do a memoirs video at some point, maybe just some of my favourite memoirs. Will not make it a Vlogmas one. You had enough of top 10s by the time I've got to the end of this one, definitely. So yes, let's go ahead. Some of these I read really early on in the year, but they've still stuck with me, a bit like with the YA ones. So first one I'm going to talk about is Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay. This book was so much more than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be about feminism and sort of the issues surrounding feminism, but Roxane Gay gets really personal, and I love the bit about her loving Scrabble. Like, that's one of the things I really loved. I made a video talking about this book in a context of this and other feminist reads, so I will link that one below for you. Then another one that's very feminist centered, and I made a video all about this one as well, so I will link that for you, and that is Girl Up by Laura Bates. I've shown you the amount that I've like sticky noted this book. It was amazing. There's just some fantastic things about this book, including the dancing vaginas. You know, that's definitely noteworthy, definitely something that's going to take a book into my top 10. And then another one that's aimed at sort of young adult readers, rather than, which Girl Up as well is aimed at people younger than myself, but I think just everybody should read it, never mind whether you're a girl or not. The next one is sort of aimed at a similar age group, and that is Doing It by Hannah Witten. I again talked about this in a sort of mini reviews video, and I really enjoyed this one. I read this one on a plane, and I enjoyed the fact that I was reading a book that said doing it, and it says let's talk about sex very large on the front cover, because I was reading a proof copy of it, and I like the fact that I was on the edge, so the whole time that front jacket was hanging out into the aisle. I thought that was quite cool. Then another one which featured in one of my feminist reads videos, and that is Nasty Women, which is a collection of essays and accounts on what it is to be a woman in the 21st century, and this is, as it says, lots of different essays, and so you can dip in and out of this one, and there are ones which I will definitely come back to and read again, and I have a few others on my list that sort of feature this same kind of thing, where it's a collection of essays, and I've just got from the library the US version of Nasty Women, which I think features, it's the same kind of thing, but it features different women telling different stories. I thought they were perhaps the same book, but you'll see now, I shared it on my Instagram, they are actually different books. Then another one that I've mentioned in another video, so I will link that below for you, and this is actually a memoir this time, so that is Hungry Heart by Jennifer Weiner. This was the first Jennifer Weiner that I actually read. I then turned me on to looking at her fiction work, and I had 2 or 3 of her fiction novels on my shelf, and so I went on to read those, and of course I rewatched the film of In Her Shoes, and it was really interesting because it says adventures in life, love and writing, and I was bought this as a present because it's specifically to do with writing, but it was, yeah, about lots more than that, and it was really interesting hearing about her life and how she's used her life in her work as well. Then the next one is another collection of essays, and that is Too Fat, Too Slutty, Too Loud, The Rise and Reign of the Unruly Woman, and this is actually a signed copy as well. and this was a really interesting read. I love the cover of this one, but yeah, again, it talks about various different women and sort of what they are known for being too. So for example, too old Madonna, too pregnant Kim Kardashian, and I actually, yes, learned a lot about these different women as well, and the way they've been kind of portrayed and ostracized and criticized in the media and what they've done about it. And I think it was the fact that, yeah, it kind of makes it personal in that way to them and gives it a face and a name for each of the essays that I liked so much about this book. And then a book that I bought at the same time as buying that book, which is also a signed copy from the Strand. There we are. And that is Note to Self by Connor Franta. I made a video talking about this one because it is an absolutely beautiful book. This book is on the list because of the gorgeousness of it. I mean, the book itself is just beautiful. It's one of these hardbacks that's not got a dust jacket. This is like a glossy picture on the front. And then in the video, I show you all the gorgeous, gorgeous, lovely, amazing pictures, including this one, which is very personal to me, this particular Ed Steiner. But yes, this book is filled with pictures that are just as beautiful as this page here. So you can see how this one made it onto the list. And then the next one, next couple I've got, I don't actually have the physical copy of because I had one of them from the library in the UK, and this book isn't published over here, or at least my library doesn't have it, and that is The Gender Games by Juno Dawson. This is one I read recently, and I talked about this in a wrap-up, and I linked a video that Simon from Savage Reads made where he interviewed Juno about this book and just had a general chat with her, and yes, definitely go away and watch that. I will link it for you again so that you can go and watch that one. And then another one which I don't have because I listened to on audiobook, so I never actually had the physical copy of this book. A lot of these I did listen to on audio as well, but I have the physical copies of them, and that is How to Be a Boss by Lily Singh. Again, I did talked about this in a kind of mini reviews video, and I talked about the fact that I loved this book because it actually gave calls to action. So it said, you know, drink more water, it's really good for you. Okay, at the end of this chapter, before you move on to the next chapter, don't carry on, pause the audiobook, put down the book that you're reading, and don't carry on reading until you've had a whole glass of water. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And it asks you to like list positive things or list things which, you know, you want to change but you know you don't have the power to change and things like that. It was just very, very positive read, and as I say, the calls to action made that book kind of stand out above the rest, and that's why it made it into the top 10. And the final one is another memoir, and it's just a memoir that is so much better than I expected to be and was so much more than I expected it to be, and I made a whole video talking about this one and I loved it, and so I will link that video for you below, and that is Binge by Tyler Oakley. This isn't the last in the list because it is the worst by any stretch. This was just really entertaining and just, again, so much more than I expected it to be. It was so full of information and personal stories and like just really personal things and things that had me nodding along with and totally agreeing with, and I talk about this a lot more in the video that I made, so definitely go away and watch that one. Okay, that is my top 10 non-fiction. As I say, when I was looking through those, there were loads more that came out, a lot of them memoirs that I was like, oh, that didn't make it onto the list, oh, and that one didn't make it onto the list either. So I may be making a video soon about the memoirs that I have read. Let me know in the comments if that is something that you would like to see. It's always a bit different having some non-fiction on here, and I have read a lot of non-fiction this year, so yes, I will be back with another Vlogmas video for you tomorrow. So make sure you are subscribed so that lands right in your subscription box. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.